Let's hop into this first topic here. It's talking about here the Kings and the Warriors. We'll get to that playing game, but the first playing game that I want to cover, we'll stick in the West, is the 7-8 matchup between the Pelicans and the Lakers. So the winner of the 7-8 of this matchup here will go on to become the official 7th seed and take on the 2-seeded Nuggets. So who do you think is going to take home this game? Pelicans.
Wait, before we do that, I don't think I've ever heard you say, what do you think about the play-in tournament? Do you like it?
Oh, so this year I like it because it gives the Warriors a chance, but in previous years
Okay.
I don't like it. No, in general, no, I don't like it. I think it's kind of dumb that there are 10 teams making a postseason. I think or 20 teams in total, 20 out of 30 teams making a postseason. I'm not huge on that. However, I kind of, as time has gone on, I've understood the argument a little bit more for the play-in tournament because of how stacked the NBA is right now. I mean, all top 10 teams in the Western Conference are over 500. The Warriors are the 10th seed with, I think, 45 wins.
46.
46 wins. So
they're both 46, 36. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I kind of understand in that aspect, but then again, you're a 10 seed. I don't really know how. I don't think it's fully fair to the 7 and 8 seeds to be put in that position.
I still am an advocate for it should just be. I mean, look, the East-West stuff, it's just what it's always been. But I just think it should be the top 16 teams make it, because then you got to get over into the East, and it's like the two teams playing in the 9-10 matchup have no business being in the playoffs. So, like, I mean, I think the Hawks are like 35 or 36 wins or something like that, and it's like you shouldn't be allowed to be in the playoffs. Under 500, you shouldn't be allowed to be in the playoffs. So I don't think either of them are going to make it anyway. But
well, I agree with that, but then it comes down to the Hawks. Oh no, they kind of get on a 2-game hot streak right in the end, and then they take over the 8th seed.
Yeah, but that's where I don't like it. It's like, why did the team that just laid back all year all of a sudden, oh, now you can? It's like the Heat, right? The Heat did it last year. I know. I guess the Heat last year would have been the 7 seed originally, right?
I think they were already in it,
and they ended up the 8 seed because I think they lost the first play-in game, but then they got to the finals, and it's like you can get hot, and it's like whatever. That's what veteran teams do. That's what the Heat have done a couple times now. So anyway, sorry. Go ahead and I interrupted you to hear about your play-in thoughts.
No, that's a good call. Yeah, I'm not huge on the play-in tournament, but the Warriors have a shot, so I guess I like it this year. Okay, Pelicans-Lakers 7-8 matchup. Who do you think takes this game?
I think I'm a little bit of a. Anytime I talk about the Lakers, it's just out of I can't stand the Lakers. I know, like, I think like, I can't stand LeBron. I can't stand watching him play. Look, I understand. Dude's awesome. He's had an amazing career. We could talk about LeBron at another point when we maybe do another episode where we talk about our lists of all time kind of stuff. But I really think, like, the Lakers are probably going to win. I think they kind of own the Pelicans this year. The one thing is, though, Lakers aren't great on the road, and the Pelicans, get to have it at home. So with Brandon Ingram back, I wouldn't be shocked either way, but my overall prediction, I took the Lakers.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good summary, and I'm kind of the same way. Listen, I think the Pelicans are actually a really, really solid team at full strength, and we've seen CJ McCollum really shine this last couple of weeks. And now with Brandon Ingram coming back, I wouldn't be entirely shocked if the Pelicans end up winning this game and getting the 7th seed. Yeah, but I think I am leaning Lakers, and a big part of that, literally, like, I fully believe a big part of this is the reffing in the NBA that I fully believe that
what was the thing you sent me yesterday about the free throw differential? Like, what?
Oh my
how
gosh.
ridiculous is that?
Unreal. The free throw differential is unreal. The highest free throw differential this season, Lakers 503, and the second place team is the Heat with 231.
So more than twice. That's insane to me.
270. Like, that's unreal. And it's like, I don't understand how you don't see that.
That to me is, so if you're a Laker fan, and I don't know how many people you have listened to this that are Laker fans, how many buddies you've got. I don't talk to very many people about basketball, so I don't know very many Laker fans. When I was younger, I did, but now I'm old, and I just hang out with. I have a 6 and 8-year-old that I hang out with, and all they say is "Ew, Lakers," So that's the extent of my basketball conversation at home. But yeah, if you're a Lakers fan and you ever complain about reffing, just stop. Just stop.
Agreed.
Like, you just have no leg to stand on with that. Like, I'm sure you've had some bad calls here and there. Everybody has, but if we were to just look at, like, overall, I mean, last year there was a stat that went around that was like they went through the last 2-minute report, and it was all the calls in favor that went in favor of a team versus the calls the wrong calls that went in favor of a team, or the wrong calls that were went the opposite way. And the Lakers and the Clippers were the overwhelming top of that. And then the Kings were dead last in that. They had the most calls go against them in the last 2 minutes. Wrong calls go against them in the last 2 minutes. And look, it is what it is. It's the NBA. It's entertainment. I get it. You want to, if I'm the NBA, I want to see Warriors Lakers play. I want to see Curry LeBron play. That's going to bring in a lot of money. It's going to get a lot of viewership. Kings don't bring in any kind of draw with that. They don't draw national attention. So I get it. It's an entertainment. It's entertainment. It's a business. So it makes sense. But when it's so glaring, sometimes I'm just kind of like, when the Lakers will shoot 39 free throws and the other team shoots 12 or something, it's like, this is dumb. It just doesn't make sense.
Agreed, 100%. It's not fun. It's annoying to watch. It just like makes me mad when I watch.
Yeah.
So I think that plays a huge part in why I think the Lakers will win this game, and why, honestly, I wouldn't want to go against them as a Warrior fan. If they were to lose this game and the Warriors were to beat the Kings, we'd have to go against them. And I don't want to see that, because I don't want to have the refs fully. Okay, we both have the Lakers beating the Pelicans. Could be a good game, though. But now let's move on to the really interesting one, the 9-10 matchup, the Kings and Warriors. My Warriors versus your Kings in Sacramento. Guys, ready to light the beam? What do you think?
I think this is more interesting to you than it is to me. I have zero faith in this Kings team. It's been a really, really rocky season. Now, look, it's hard to complain as a Kings fan when you got a team get 46 wins after so many bad years. But with them now, if they were full strength, I probably would take the Kings, but they're not full strength. I think not having Malik Monk was kind of the season ender for them. Because I sent you a screenshot the other day of the Kings bench, and it's comical how bad their bench is now without Monk, because they haven't been able to put together consistent offense. Now, every now and then you get a nice game from Trey Lyles, from Davion Mitchell. But like Sasha I went to the Kings game last week, and when they were playing the Clippers, and it was like my brother and I were laughing at him running down the floor, because it was like, I love Sasha. Don't get me wrong. I think Sasha's great. I mean, EuroLeague MVP. He's a good basketball player, good shooter, but since he's come back from his injury, you can tell he's not in shape. He doesn't add much. And so when you've got Sasha as part of your rotation, and out of shape Sasha as your part of your rotation, I mean, it's just like it's not going to happen. He's too slow right now. I like Sasha. I'm rooting for him, but I don't think this is going to be close. I think Curry's going to go off. Fox hasn't been great ever since he came. I mean, he started so hot, and then he came back from his ankle injury. He's had some good runs here and there, but hasn't been, he's not unstoppable in the clutch anymore like he was last year. The only consistent thing is Sabonis. He's really the only one that's been consistent. And even the coaching, it's been a little bit weird. So I think I said the Warriors. I think the Warriors will win. I mean, Kings being at home doesn't matter. You saw that last week with them dropping. They got beat by 40, I think, by the Mavs at home. And even though it was a little schedule-y, I think it was like a back-to-back for the Kings, but still, you're at home. Shouldn't lose by 40. At one point this year, they lost the Pelicans. They were down by 50 at home against the Pelicans at one point. So home doesn't matter. And I don't think, the Warriors are better on the road anyway. So
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to bring up.
Even though it breaks my heart, I picked the Warriors.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I was going to bring that up because the Warriors have been better on the road. The Warriors are the strangest team right now, because last season they were terrible on the road, and now here they are, and they're actually really good on the road.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It flipped this year.
It completely flipped. It's the weirdest thing ever. But the Warriors are
the young guys?
Potentially.
What are Curry's numbers? Do they switch, or is he consistent? I haven't watched the Warriors enough this year to know.
Steph is generally consistent. I don't really think there's much of a difference. I think the biggest thing is just, not numbers wise, but when it just comes to the environment of Chase Center, is you just watch it on TV. It's just not that crazy in there. Like, you watch Golden One. I mean, I don't watch it. Like, I don't watch a lot of Kings games,
fans are amazing.
That's
Kings
the
fans
thing.
are so awesome. Like they really are.
I think Warrior fans are great too, but that was mostly when we were in Oakland, because when we were in Oakland at Oracle, it was roaring in there. I mean, they called it the Roracle Arena, but now at Chase Center, it's all all the dudes in their suit and ties, like cruising around, like buying $20 nachos and beers. It's
I went to
ridiculous.
a game. I mean, I used to go to a lot of Warrior games at Oracle, because it was like I mean, they were cheap. This is when the Warriors weren't very good, but it was really cheap. It was actually like early on when Monte was still there. Monte Ellis was still there.
Yeah.
I went to like 6 or 7 games. It was the 2011, 2012 season.
Mhm.
But I went one time where I wore my Hito jersey,
Yeah.
and Orlando was in Oracle. I took it off because it was hostile, dude. I thought I was going to get jumped.
I believe it, dude.
It was crazy in there.
I believe it.
I was scared as an opposing fan. All the other
I
games,
think
I like the Warriors. I don't have a problem with the Warriors. I love Curry. Clay's one of my favorite players too. So it's hard for me to
yeah.
really. But when they play the Kings, honestly, there's something that comes out that just I hate Draymond. I can't stand the Warriors. And then as soon as it's over, it's like I'm rooting for the Warriors again. I like the
Yeah.
Warriors.
So yeah, I think that's the biggest. I think that's the biggest part of this whole home and away thing for the Warriors. But as for this game, this 9-10 matchup, I'm also going to ride with the Warriors here. But I do think it's going to be a close game. But I think both of these teams are fairly inconsistent. I think both of these teams don't
Yeah,
stand
that's
a
fair.
chance to win the finals this year. And I just think it's kind of like a game where honestly you don't really know what's going to happen. But the one thing that I know I can count on is Steph Curry in a elimination game. And I think that Steph's, like you brought up, I think Steph's going to have a really good game. And
is his ankle healthy? Because because you told me that today. I saw his game time decision. I didn't know that his ankle was messed up. I knew he didn't play against the Jazz, but I just thought this because it didn't matter.
Yeah, it was a little sprain. He kind of tweaked it. He kind of rolled it. It didn't look fantastic. But Steve Kerr, they came out and said that he could have played against the Jazz,
Oh,
and
okay.
they just wanted to rest
Because
him.
I would be, I mean, if I'm Steph and I've got a bum ankle and I'm gonna have Davion and Keon riding me all night, like that'd be, even though Steph's, I mean, you know how I feel about Steph. I think he's one of the greatest players of all time, all
Totally.
around. But those dudes are pests. Like I wouldn't want to have a pesky defender on me if my ankle's bummed.
Yeah.
So
No. So I think his ankle's fine. It's not. I see honestly zero world where Steph doesn't play this game. But I think his ankle's not going to be much of an issue. I think Steph's going to have a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game, though. I don't think it's going to be a Warrior blowout.
this is the other thing I thought of today, and I was going to bring it up. Let's say Steph doesn't play. I know that's not going to happen.
Oh,
But if you've watched Kings, no. Listen to this. If you've watched Kings games this year, Kings have struggled so much against teams that are not full strength. And I don't know if it's a mindset thing, but anytime it became a thing to where now look, you know how I feel about the Kings announcers. They're awful.
oh gosh, they're terrible.
They're terrible. They're so bad. But they bring it up a lot where it's like if there's a team coming in that is shorthanded, they struggle against it. And I don't know if it's a mindset like we should just beat these guys, but I remember them coming in. It was I think the first time we saw that was I'm trying to think who it was. It was in it was the Hornets. The Hornets came in and they were missing like 3 dudes and they just got lit up by guys I hadn't even heard of. And it was just like, what is happening here? They were making TJ McConnell look like, is TJ McConnell, is he on the Hornets? No.
No, TJ McConnell's not on the Hornets, but somebody on the
Trying to think
Hornets
who was.
that it could have been is
It was Terry Rozier before he got traded.
Terry Rozier. Yeah.
It was Terry Rozier. I do know Terry Rozier, but no, it was just like one of those games where I sound like an idiot right now, but
No, dude. I do that all the time.
I don't watch enough of the whole league to know where everybody is right now.
Well, no. I think if Steph doesn't play, I'm not taking the Warriors, dude. They have not.
I just wouldn't be shocked. The Kings have shown that they don't play well against teams that are shorthanded. Oh, it was like, and when Franz went out when they played Orlando, Franz rolled his ankle, and I can't watch those games very well, but Franz rolled his ankle, and it was like without Franz, the Kings should have handled Orlando just fine, and it was like I think it was at least overtime. Paolo lit him up that night. But anyways.
Well, I don't know. I think Steph's going to play, so I'm not even going to imagine that.
I was just hypothetical.
No. I like it. But I do think the Warriors are going to end up taking this game. So we both have the Warriors.
So we have the Warriors at the 8th seed then, right?
Well, that would make it Warriors
Pelicans.
Versus Pelicans. And then, okay, so who do you have there?
This is where I said I kind of cheated a little bit. I actually just took Pelicans Lakers just because of the 7-8 thing anyway, and then I just swapped them because the Lakers are going to win that first game. So I put Lakers 7, Pelicans 8.
That's a fair call. I'm gonna go Warriors here against, because not that I think that they've been better this season, but I trust Steph Curry again, and I think Steph Curry is going to turn it up. And because Steph Curry is going to have to carry us. I mean, for the most part, I generally think the Warriors have a pretty deep team,
They
but
do.
they haven't shown that all this year. They haven't. It's weird because I think they do, but they haven't really shown it all that much. But I'm going to take Steph against the Pelicans in an elimination game here, and sneak into the 8th seed. I think that can happen here.
Well,
But
for the sake of this, then I'm going to go with you, just for the
I
sake
like
of
it.
the rest of the bracket here.
Okay, I
Is that
love it.
fine?
I like it. No, we can go with
Because
that. Your call, though.
I could go toss up there. I would have probably said the Pel. Well, no, I'll
Well, it
stick with
is.
the Pelicans. No,
You can stick with
I'll
the
go with
Pelicans.
it.
Stick with the Pelicans. Stick with the Pelicans. That's a very valid pick. I have nothing wrong with that. So, okay, before we get into the rest of the West, let's get into the Eastern Conference play-in too, so we can just knock these out.
So
So,
uninteresting to me.
very uninteresting. So we can just breeze right through this. 7th seed 76ers versus the 8th seeded Miami Heat. I'm actually going to rock with the Miami Heat here, just for the sole fact that Jimmy Butler seems to just go crazy in the playoff time.
You
So
think he's got another one of those in him? He
yeah,
looks
dude.
different this year. He doesn't seem like he now maybe it's hard.
Well,
You shouldn't doubt him, but because he's shown it
yeah.
over and over.
That's the thing. Like every year, it's almost like, man, Jimmy Butler, like he was okay in the regular season, like still played very well, whatever. But dude, it's playoff buckets, dude. He is so good in the playoffs. So
He is.
or postseason. I don't even get. I guess playing's not even the playoffs. But I'm gonna take Jimmy Butler here over the Sixers. But again, that's gonna be a game that I'm definitely gonna try and tune into. It'll be a pretty good game. But I'll go.
I like that game. I think I'm gonna go chalk here, and I'm gonna say the Sixers are gonna win that one.
Okay.
And then I think the Heat will be the 8th seed.
So Bulls Hawks doesn't really matter. I guess
I think the Bulls are gonna win that. Bulls, I feel like the Bulls are actually a decent team. Like they've had so many games that are close this year, and I guess that's the sign that you're not that great if you're losing all the close games. But they're not a pushover. Whereas I think we've seen the Hawks are so streaky, where it's like, yeah, maybe you come back against the Celtics on a 30-point deficit against the Celtics, and you can beat, like, they're a good matchup for some teams, but I just don't. They're not a good team. I can't stand watching the Hawks either. Like, I only watched them play. Let's see. I watched them play against Orlando this year. I watched playing against the Kings this year. So what is that? Maybe like 5 times. I can't stand watching them play.
That's fair.
And I don't think I like the Bulls. I think the Bulls are actually a good team.
I think the Bulls should be better than.
And did you watch them against the Knicks the other day, or did you just see the score?
No, I just saw the overtime score.
I mean, it took Brunson going off to beat them in overtime, and I mean they're not a pushover team. They're not going to be a fun out for the 1 seed for sure.
No, you're right. And then you have 76ers going against the Bulls and the Sixers winning that.
What's that? Oh yeah. So I would have 76ers. No, I would have 76ers win against the Heat.
Oh, that's right. But then you'd have Heat versus.
I'd have Heat Bulls. And again, I think it's going to be the Heat, but the Bulls just aren't a pushover.
Fair. I'm the same way, but I agree with you on the Bulls, but I've always been a believer in Ice Trey ever since that Eastern Conference Finals run. I think Trey can pull it out.
He almost won me over in that series. He almost won me over. I liked him.
Yeah, no, Trey. That was a crazy run. I think a lot of people forget about, like, not that he's been, like, the Hawks have been great since then, because they really haven't. They've been pretty mediocre, but I think Trey can pull out one game there. So I'll take the Hawks against the Bulls, but then I'll take the Sixers to beat the Hawks. So I have the Heat at the 7th seed and the Sixers as the 8th seed. So
we just flip-flopped.